Trump is threatening to strike on land in Venezuela, saying that he is going to get the CIA to attack Venezuela. Fantastic. This is what we really need right now, I think. I think we need another forever war, everybody. I was just thinking, what could we do? What could we do to really fuck up the bag? What could we do to really fuck this country? To just put it on, to ensure that it dies, okay? And there you go. Lo and behold, Donald Trump, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, he was like, you know what this country needs? Another Iraq, but this time with direct proximity. Like another Iraq on our continent, basically. Not on our continent directly, but, you know, in our backyard, as close to our backyard as possible. Fuck yeah, dude. That's awesome. The mad lad. He's doing it during a government shutdown because the Republicans are refusing to even offer or continue subsidies so that people can pay for their fucking healthcare. Their costly healthcare, mind you. Their costly healthcare that keeps expanding in cost every single year, mind you. Okay? We don't even want to offer the Band-Aid solution to the Americans so that they can at least still continue existing and continue being able to pay for their healthcare without like losing an arm and a fucking leg. Fantastic, dude. Such lunacy. It's incredible. Everything fucking sucks. Everything is dog shit. And meanwhile, people are just so oblivious to everything that's happening, with the exception of those who are in this community, obviously.
Then Trump considering U.S. strikes on Venezuelan soil to combat drug cartels.
Well, I don't want to tell you exactly, but we are certainly looking at land now because we've got the sea very well under control.
The president also escalating U.S. operations against Venezuela's authoritarian leader, Nicolas Maduro. Trump confirming he's authorized covert CIA action in the country. But when asked if the agency has the authority to take out Maduro, Trump non-committal.
But I think Venezuela is feeling heat.
In a statement overnight, Venezuela accusing Trump of trying to legitimize a regime change operation to access the country's oil resources.
Would another Iraq cause incredible civil unrest, the level of Vietnam due to deteriorated living conditions? I don't even fucking know anymore, man. I don't even know. I don't know. I feel like there is no way that America recovers from that. Okay? There is no fucking way. I don't even think there's enough appetite amongst the military to engage in this kind of fuck shit. But what do I know? Maybe I'm wrong. I do feel like there probably would be a lot more discontent. Like I feel like this guy is creating the conditions for an officer's rebellion, you know, like a thing that hasn't really happened in the United States of America in the past. It seems like it could happen, especially with like, once I watched the Pete Hegseth, Donald Trump, like dressing down of all the generals, that's when I realized like, this is actually so psychotic. Like this will be a danger. This, I suspect, will be a danger to the the Trump administration, unlike anything else. Because I think people discount how many fucking generals are hyper libbed up, and they think that like the U.S. military represents positive values like defending democracy. A lot of people don't realize that like some of these generals, not every single one of these generals is like a general spider rapist or whatever who's just there to hawk Raytheon products on CNN. Some of those guys do unironically come from long-standing military families. They're very well read. They're huge liberals, and they think that like the American military is supposed to represent, protecting the American nation from tyrants and enemies, both foreign and domestic. So I don't think that like they're all going to be on board with like drunk rapist Pete Hegseth running around and being like, that's right, we got to listen to more podcasts and become more alpha dog.
Sources saying they would bring up the matter at the UN Security Council today. It comes after the U.S. carried out its fifth deadly.
I mean, this is famous. Like General Milley defends military studies of critical race theory. I want to understand white rage. This is why they belittled him. Remember, they called him Marx Millie. They said he's woke. They say he's woke and gay because he was like, I read Mao and everyone should read Mao. The anti-intellectual stint that this administration has really, really pushed, I suspect is making its way through all of our institutions. But I would assume that the American military, which has at least been like, in comparison to all of the other public services that America offers that have been totally gutted, the American military is probably one of the last remaining stable institutions. Obviously, it's not. Like, people will say, what the fuck do you mean it's stable? Have you seen the barracks and the places that people live in? Like, it's in a state of dire disrepair. Like, we treat the military active duty service members like shit. Yes. But I'm saying in comparison to all of the other public services and public structures that we have, I would go so far as to say that the American military is like one of the last somewhat competent institutions in the country. And I don't think that a lot of the American generals are going to be on board with the anti-intellectualist momentum that has taken root, at least in the governance structure of the military, at least in the command structure of the military.
Strike on an alleged drug boat off the coast of Venezuela. Trump posting this video on social media, saying 6 male narco-terrorists aboard the vessel were killed in the strike.
The American military is entertaining just blowing up and not entertaining, just like straight up blowing up fishermen off the coastline of a totally sovereign nation that we have declared a foreign adversary, and claiming that we're doing that to like somehow save the Venezuelan population, and you know, like Maduro, hate Maduro, doesn't fucking matter. Ultimately, America is playing a very, very dangerous game here. Very violent, unrestrained, utterly psychotic force of evil on the planet. How else do you look at the situation and see it as anything but that? Check the tweet. He sent B-52 bombers to fly over Venezuela. Breaking, 3 B-52 bombers took off from Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana on Wednesday and flew for hours near the coast of Venezuela, according to flight tracking data, in what appears to be a major show of force by President Trump. What the fuck? Will this cause all of the pro-NATO, pro-defense liberals to also say, wow, my president is being quite presidential? Is that what they're going to say? Like, this is saber rattling, and it's beyond saber rattling. This is not like even paper tiger shit. This is just straight up like entertaining war. President of peace. This is so crazy. And it is happening at a time when there is already not unprecedented discontent, but like tremendous discontent, right? Like, people are not happy with their day-to-day existence. Everything is getting worse rapidly at an alarming rate. Everything is shittier than it was a year prior. Okay? And all this guy is doing, all this Mad King is doing is basically, let's expand the conflict. You know what would be really good right now? A hot war in the Latin American continent. What the fuck? Has Venezuela ever done anything to deserve military offensives like this? Or is he just doing it for the love of the game? Yes, he's doing it for the love of the game. And because the administration is actually openly incompetent and doesn't even care to present like a good alternative, like, I feel like if this was being done under liberal leadership, they would at the very least constantly talk about how bad Maduro is and how the only way to bring democracy to Venezuela is by directly engaging Venezuela with conflict and with war or something. But the Trump administration straight up is like, I'm evil. I don't like people, and I want to kill Venezuelans. Like, they basically openly are like, they have a lot of oil, they have large oil reserves, I want it. And even if like Maduro were to hand it off to like fucking Chevron or some shit, I want it on my own. I want it the way I want to get it. It's just America is a rogue state. And the difference between America always being a rogue state by definition because it's the hegemonic superpower. And America behaving like a rogue state now is that they've taken off the safeguards. Okay? They are completely dropping all notion that this is a valid act, a valid and necessary and just act. In the past, they would at least try to present an argument as to why this must happen. Present an argument that, like, the Venezuelans will welcome us as liberators, shit like that. That's not happening anymore. There's no longer even a need for the admin. They're just like, nope, this is it. We're doing it. Fuck you gonna do about it? That's the attitude. It's pretty crazy.
September and has drawn fierce condemnation from Democratic lawmakers who say the strikes risk getting the U.S. into a full-fledged war.
There's lots of people who have been designated terrorists. That does not automatically give the authority to take lethal action.
Asked why he's striking the boats instead of using traditional Coast Guard operations where officers can verify who is on the boat, Trump saying the Coast Guard boats are too slow.
They have faster boats.
It's crazy.
Some of these boats are seriously, I mean, they're world-class speedboats. But they're not faster than missiles.
Like, no one is even asking the question, like, why we have no business being there. Okay, we have no business. We have no business overtaking the territorial coastline of a foreign adversary. Like, that's crazy. That's so insane. Like, the argument of narco-terrorism, like combating narco-terrorism, is so fucking stupid and so hollow that, like, I don't even think most people who would be on board with militarism of this sort are capable of justifying this level of belligerency.
So far, the administration has provided limited details and no evidence to prove that the 27 people killed were attempting to traffic drugs to the U.S. as they claim.
So there's a 1 in 4 chance,
it's crazy,
statistically speaking, that one of these boats may not have had any drugs on it. We will never know because they were blown to smithereens.
In a memo obtained by ABC News earlier this month, the administration told Congress that America is in a formal armed conflict and that drug cartels are deemed unlawful combatants. Now, the Venezuelan government has repeatedly denounced the U.S. strike, saying they are, quote, a pure violation of international rights. Maduro calling them, quote, aggression all down the line. But U.S. officials accuse Maduro of facilitating drug trafficking from Venezuela, a claim he denies.
This video was shared with the world by President Trump. He said the U.S. destroyed a Venezuelan boat ferrying drugs to America. 6 people were killed. Donald Trump calls them narco-terrorists. Now he's been astonishingly open about...
We've talked about this already. I already gave you guys like the rundown a while back when this first started happening. But narco trafficking patterns are pretty clear, right? It doesn't happen. Like, Venezuela is not a hub for drug trafficking. It never has been. There is no evidence whatsoever that these guys that the Trump administration is killing are actually drug traffickers in general. And even if they were drug traffickers, this is not the appropriate way to deal with that. You're supposed to apprehend them. You're supposed to, first of all, demand that Venezuela apprehend them. Okay. And if they don't apprehend them, you're supposed to track them and apprehend them with your own naval vessels. And after conducting a proper investigation. There is no world where you just fucking start lasering random boats off of someone else's coastline. Like, that's fucking ridiculous. And there isn't enough evidence. There isn't enough evidence that, like, Venezuela has been a major drug trafficking hub in. There has never been any evidence that Venezuela has been a major drug trafficking hub. There was like one idea that was floated many, many years ago. I dove into it extensively as far as like the claim that Chavistas and his like generals were somehow operating some kind of like narco trafficking hub, but it was just like a ridiculous fucking CIA narrative that they presented that they dropped anyway because they were like, yeah, we don't really need this. Even if they were drug traffickers, it's likely that they're trafficking cocaine as opposed to deadly drugs like fentanyl. Despite Trump's claims, cocaine and marijuana are the only substantial drug shipments from Venezuela, and it is marginal as opposed to all of the other hubs. Drugs do not come into drugs do not flow into the American continent, the United States of America, inside of our borders through these kinds of random drops. They flow through regular ports of entry, okay? They come in cargo vessels. They do not come with go-fast boats. This is not like the cocaine panic, the cocaine cowboys era in Miami, okay? They come through airplanes and they come through cargo vessels. That's it. That is, of course, when they're not coming through Fort Bragg or our beautiful JSOC operations, which is, you know, our special forces that are the #1 drug traffickers in America anyway, or the DEA itself, or the CIA itself. I think the reason why he's trying to fucking do this is because the reason why I think he's entertaining this is because, you know, war is, I guess, good for some of his corporate benefactors, maybe, and he can use the war as a way to I guess no longer have elections, maybe, you know what I mean? Who knows? The opportunities are endless here.
CIA's usually highly secret potential plans in Venezuela. In the Oval Office, he confirmed he has authorized the Central Intelligence Agency to conduct covert operations in the South American country.
I authorized for two reasons, really. Number one, they have emptied their prisons into the United States of America. They came in through the they came in through the border. They came in because we had an open border policy. And as soon as I heard that, I said, a lot of these countries, they're not the only country, but they're the worst abuser. And they've entered they've allowed thousands and thousands of prisoners, mental institution, people from mental institutions, insane asylums, emptied out into the United States. We're bringing them back. But that's a really bad, and they did it at a level that probably not, many countries have done it, but not like Venezuela. They were down and dirty. And the other thing are drugs. We have a lot of drugs coming in from Venezuela. And a lot of the Venezuelan drugs come in through the sea, so you get to see that. But we're going to stop them by land also.
Venezuela is by no means the biggest exporter of illicit drugs in South America. And the claim it's sending prisoners...
Not even fucking close, dude. Not even close. Like, it's ridiculous. Donald Trump launched a coup attempt against Venezuela in 2019, boasting of nearly collapsing the country through sanctions and economic war. He said, we would have taken it over. We would have gotten all of that oil. This is from a 2023 speech at a Republican Party event. This has been his, like, major priority. I've always said he has a sympathy for authoritarian strongmen, except for Maduro. Weirdly enough, he's always hated Maduro. He's always hated Venezuela. And I guess, like, the primary reason for it is that someone told him that Venezuela has major natural oil reserves. And he's like, I want it. I want it bad. I want it more than anything else. And so that's what it is.
Venezuela. How about we're buying oil from Venezuela? When I left, Venezuela was ready to collapse. We would have taken it over. We would have gotten all that oil. It would have been right next door. Venezuela. How about we're buying oil from Venezuela?
Yeah. As you guys know, the sanctions regime greatly escalated under Trump 1. Obama basically created an environment where sanctions were seen as the perfect and most appropriate measure, where you could take unilateral action against, like, economic market competitors and things like that. And Trump was like, oh my God, this is a fantastic opportunity to do regime change all around the world, specifically in Venezuela. Now, of course, famously, in the aftermath of making the economy scream in Venezuela with this accelerated sanctions regime, there was a fuck ton of Venezuelans who obviously escaped the country due to the economic turmoil and due to the material conditions deteriorating and the Maduro regime turning around and really putting the fucking clamp on people that expressed any kind of discontent because they felt like they were being attacked from Western imperialist forces. And there is some truth to that argument, right? But what did Donald Trump do? He literally gave temporary protected status to the Venezuelans that were escaping the country. And he said, you can come here. We will protect you. We'll give you temporary protected status. This is a common practice for America in general, right? And then now he's actually shutting off the temporary protected status and saying hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans that came to the United States of America due to the impact of the fucking sanctions and the cruelty that came in the aftermath from the Maduro government is Now they're also enemies of the state at the domestic level. Now he's using them as an opportunity to further his mass deportation agenda. It is totally transparently cruel and unusual. It makes no fucking sense. And he's also simultaneously egging on a war against Venezuela.